Hey y'all, it's Kim from Kim Dixon Creative, and I'm so glad you stopped by my channel today. Today I am participating in the Card Hopping October Hop. Our theme this month is your favorite holiday and either an interactive or a fun fold card. Well, y'all know I am a sucker for a fun fold card, and that's what we're doing today. So I have a piece of Brutus Monroe Wagon cardstock. Wagon is the color. And I've got this pumpkin stencil from Pink and Maine. Was in the Crafty Courtyard kit in September. And I'm going to take some purple tape and tape the stencil down to my glass mat. And I'm going to do a little ink blending. And you can kind of see up there in the right top corner, I've got some Brutus Monroe Alabaster Pigment ink. And I'm first going to take my ink blending tool and dab that all over this stencil and give myself a white background on this orange cardstock. Once I get that on, I'm going to heat set it with my heat tool a little bit, and then I'm going to come in with some orange ink over top of that. I'm going to be using some VersaFine Clair ink, and the color is Summertime, and I'm just going to ink blend directly over right where I ink blended the white pigment ink. And this is going to make that orange ink that I'm using here pop a little bit better, having that white pigment ink on the bottom. So I'm just lightly using that orange ink. It's called, again, it's VersaFine Clair, and it's called Summertime. And I'm using my mini Ergo ink blending tool from Pink and Maine. I've had this in my stash for a long time. I don't ink blend a lot. I don't know why. It's fun. It's easy, especially if you have stencils. I just forget to do it. So a little about our hop. We're just a group of YouTube creators and some Instagram that like to get together and have a little hop every once in a while. We have one once a month. And we have one, like I say, once a month, and we like to pick a different theme and a different technique every month. And this month again is your favorite holiday, and the technique is either interactive or a fun fold card. So now I've taken this rectangle die, and I have taken it over to my die cutting machine and cut out that rectangle out of the center of the front of my card. I had a couple of smudges on my card front with my ink blending, and that worked out perfectly because that was where I was cutting that away. Now I'm going to stamp my images that I want to color. This is a Cat Scrappiness Cat Scrappiness stamp set. I'll get it out from last year, I think. It's the Gnomes for Thanksgiving, and I'm going to stamp out my little pumpkin there, and then I'm also going to stamp it out on a little pink post-it note to do some masking, because I want my little pumpkin to be there in the front. And so I'm going to stamp that pumpkin on my little post-it note, and then I'll fussy cut that out. So when you do any kind of masking, when you're stamping, you want to stamp what you want to see in the front first. Then you want to cut your mask out and cover it up, and then you stamp what's going to actually go behind. And I have to really think about this every time I do any kind of masking. one thing I have learned to do, especially if it's going to be, if there's going to be a lot of images, I will do kind of a mapping technique where I stamp everything on a scrap piece of paper. Never mind, I'm not minding where I'm overlapping because I'm not going to be using it, but it helps me get a visual of what goes first, what goes second, what goes third. This one I didn't do that simply because there was just that one image that I'm masking, so I knew kind of how I wanted to do it. So I have stamped out my pumpkin and then stamped it on the mask, and now I'm stamping my little gnomes, my little girl and my boy gnome. They're going to go inside my card, peeking out that little rectangular hole that we've cut with our die. And so I'm just getting everything set just like I want it. I'm using Memento Tuxedo black ink, which is the perfect ink for alcohol marker coloring. And then once I get this all stamped up, I'm going to color my image using my alcohol markers. I have Nuvo markers, and I really do like them. I have mostly Nuvo markers. I've started buying up some of the Arteza, I think they're called the Arteza Deluxe, maybe, or no, the Ultra. Arteza Ultra Everblends. They have a brush nib on one end, like Copics, and so far I've only bought the skin tone set, but I like them. I like having that brush nib. I love my Nuvos, don't get me wrong, and I love that it takes the guesswork out of your color families, because they've got a nice chart to go by, but I wish they had brush nibs on them. And so I ordered a set of these Arteza Everblend Ultras just to try them, and I do like them. Also, when I do alcohol coloring, I like to use Express It blending card, and it just helps, for me, it helps blend a lot better. I can get a better blend most of the time. If it's that the Express It blending card is kind of slick, and so you have a lot more time to blend your colors together. So once I get that colored, I take it over and I cut it out with that same rectangle die. Now I'm cutting my inside piece of my card. I'm cutting a piece of white cardstock. I've cut it to 4 by 8, and I've scored it at 4 and at 2. And right now I'm just burnishing down my card at the 4-inch mark, and I'm going to glue that to the inside of my card so that the fold opens to the right. So it's going to actually open opposite of your card. And then once I get that glued in, I'm going to fold back on that 2-inch score line so that you've got kind of a Z-fold in the inside. Then I'm going to close the card and glue down my image inside that little opening, but only on one half of that fold, so that when you open, it's a peekaboo card, but so when you open the card, you've got kind of a Z-fold thing going on, which I thought was just a really cute idea. Not my own. I found it on Pinterest. So, there's nothing much new on the face of the earth as far as card making is concerned that somebody hadn't already done. It's just putting your own spin on it. So I was not very happy with the front of my card, it felt very flimsy. So I decided to cut a piece of white cardstock to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm gonna glue that to the inside of my card on the front. And then once I get that glued down, I'm gonna take that same die and take it over to my die cutting machine and slide that die right on the inside of where it cut out already, and so I can have some stability to the front of my card. I wasn't really crazy about how it felt. It felt weak, and so this way I've got a little bit of stability in there. And so, and of course I get schmutz on it when I put it through my die cutting machine. I always do. But I want to inside sentiment on my card, so I go to the stamp set and I find the greeting, Happy Gnomes-giving. And that was on that same stamp set that the gnome images came from cat scrappiness. And I'm going to stamp it on the inside of my card using that same orange ink from VersaFine Clair. It's called Summertime. Since I haven't stamped that stamp set before, I'm going to kind of condition it and make sure it stamps okay on a piece of scratch paper, because I've gone to a lot of trouble on this card. I don't want to mess it up. So I do stamp that greeting on the inside. Hey, and that's our card for this week. I just want to remind you that this is a hop. There is a list of the other participants in the description box below. And close to the top, there is a link to a form that you can fill out. And we're giving away a $50 scrapbook.com gift card. So make sure you find that link and fill it out, and you can also be entered for a chance to win that gift card. Check out all the other participants in the hop, because I know that they would appreciate your love. Give them a like. If you haven't subscribed to their channel before, go ahead and do so. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It's completely free. And while you're there, hit the little bell icon and select all so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. I just want to tell you all, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for sticking it out to the end of the video. I really do appreciate all of you so very much. Thanks, and have a wonderful Gnomes-giving.